The WNBA seems to be in complete damage control mode right now. Caitlin Clark's biography has climbed to #1 on Amazon's bestseller list, and the details revealed inside reportedly have league officials more nervous than they were during her rookie campaign. The book pulls back the curtain on issues the league would likely prefer to keep quiet. If this momentum continues, the fallout could be massive. How long do you think it will take before the WNBA attempts to challenge the book's credibility or criticize the author? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Caitlin Clark is way more important to the WNBA than Tiger Woods was to men's golf, even though he was huge. And to then see this negativity, like why? And what should have been done? I looked seriously at the leadership of the WNBA. And how could you not be prepared for this moment? You've seen it happening in the Big Ten. You've seen it in Iowa. You see these TV ratings.
Here we are watching the WNBA react under pressure. Christine Brennan's book, Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, has just reached the top spot on Amazon's bestseller rankings. It's safe to assume league executives are holding urgent meetings, trying to figure out how to manage the growing attention and shape the narrative before it spirals further.
Is filling in for Mace. I've been looking forward to this all week. Christine Brennan is one of the best sports writers in the country, has been for a long time. And she has a new book out about Caitlin Clark. It's available for pre-order now.
This isn't just another sports book chasing headlines. It's written by Christine Brennan, a respected veteran journalist who has covered women's basketball longer than many current players have been competing professionally. She isn't a blogger seeking clicks or a social media influencer chasing trends. Brennan has spent decades reporting on women's sports, which makes her perspective and her criticism of the league's leadership far more impactful and difficult to dismiss.
To shake the ground of the WNBA. She's been around for a very long time, and she knows the inner and outer workings of this league. Christine Brennan let it be known in multiple interviews that the WNBA was not ready for a superstar like Caitlin Clark.
The fact that the book immediately surged to #1 says a lot about public curiosity surrounding Caitlin Clark's treatment and transition into the professional game. Readers aren't purchasing it simply for an uplifting sports story. They want clarity about what actually happened as Clark entered the WNBA. And according to Brennan, they are getting detailed insight. One major revelation describes how, the day after Clark declared for the WNBA draft, Brennan contacted a senior league official to assess their expectations. The official reportedly compared Clark's potential impact to Maya Moore's arrival. Yes, Maya Moore.
The 2024 WNBA draft, USA Today sports columnist Christine Brennan made a phone call to a top official in the WNBA. Quote, "Do you know how big this is?" Brennan asked. That official said Clark's arrival was the biggest thing to happen to the WNBA since Maya Moore came into the league. Folks, Christine Brennan knew that answer right there was like, oh crap. They have no idea what's fixing to happen. And it sounds like from this article.
To be clear, Maya Moore is an exceptional player whose achievements deserve recognition. However, equating Clark's widespread mainstream visibility with Moore's influence reflects a significant miscalculation. Moore was highly respected within basketball communities, but she never generated the same level of national spotlight among general sports audiences. Brennan quickly realized the league underestimated the moment. Clark had already been breaking television ratings records in college, filling arenas across the country, and creating unprecedented buzz. Yet league leadership appeared to view her as simply another skilled rookie entering the system.
Answered, "What? Wait, what?" Brennan was shocked. Maya Moore, a Hall of Famer, was called, quote, "the greatest winner in the history of women's basketball" by Sports Illustrated in 2017. She was talented, beloved superstar in the league, and she deserved all the attention. But outside the league, Moore went virtually unnoticed. So Christine Brennan knew Caitlin Clark was not going to go unnoticed at all. Clark.
What this suggests is a serious lack of foresight at the institutional level. The individuals responsible for guiding a professional sports league, handling marketing strategies, scheduling decisions, and long-term growth, failed to recognize a transformative opportunity. Clark's popularity did not materialize overnight. During her time at Iowa, she steadily built a massive fan base and national profile. The signs were unmistakable. Still, WNBA leadership seemed slow to grasp the magnitude of the moment unfolding right in front of them.
From home like everybody else. And I think, guys, that actually helped me understand as a journalist the fascination, because I've covered a lot over my career and been very fortunate to be at Wimbledon's and Super Bowls and Tiger Woods and you name it, I've covered it. And I'm so lucky to have done that. And I found myself fascinated, like, who is this? And I'm getting text messages from guys who would never have watched a second of women's basketball. Good guys. They want their daughters to play sports. I mean, good people, but just, And they're texting, are you there? I'm watching. Are you seeing this performance? And that told me something that I actually was very helpful to be at home watching it versus being on press row, talking to a bunch of other journalists, that like, okay, there's something going on in the country here. And it's everyone's fascinated and people are standing in line for hours in the cold around the Big Ten, this barnstorming tour. And it's all about a basketball player who happens to be a woman.
Brennan's book explains how this initial miscalculation triggered a domino effect of lost opportunities and flawed execution. From the very beginning, the league's promotional strategy appeared misguided. Rather than centering its campaign around Caitlin Clark as a transformative figure, officials seemed to present her as simply another rookie expected to gradually prove herself. Key marketing moments that could have highlighted her arrival instead felt generic and understated. According to Brennan, Clark could have been positioned at the forefront of advertising, digital outreach, and national branding efforts from day one. The book also notes that the Indiana Fever were reportedly unprepared for the extraordinary turnout Clark generated. During her first preseason appearance, security personnel were surprised to see fans lining up 2 hours before tip-off, an unusual sight for an exhibition game. Parking facilities filled quickly, resembling the atmosphere of a major Indiana Pacers postseason matchup. Roughly 14,000 spectators attended that preseason contest, leaving venue staff stunned. Despite months of anticipation and widely available data showing Clark's college attendance numbers, television ratings, and social media growth, the infrastructure in place was not scaled to match the demand. Brennan suggests this was more than simple oversight. It reflected a broader reluctance to fully acknowledge what was unfolding.
The thing I don't get, Christine, is that in the case of Tiger and in the case of Jordan, the other players and the league around them, in Tiger's case the PGA Tour, realized that a rising tide raises all boats and were incredibly supportive of Tiger and Jordan. With Caitlin, it seems like, for whatever reason, she's polarizing. Like she's been hit with more flagrant fouls than any player ever this year. They tried to come at you when you were writing a story and said, don't ask questions about why people don't like Caitlin Clark. But I'm going to ask you, Christine, why is she polarizing in your opinion? Why do people not embrace the phenomenon that is Caitlin Clark?
It's one of the big points in the book. I deal with all of this and my research and reporting, because I was perplexed as well. I mean, this is the greatest moment ever for the WNBA. Yep. We wish it happened sooner. Of course we wish it happened sooner. There were amazing players who, as you know, both you guys know, were toiling in obscurity. The male-dominated mainstream sports media ignored.
The financial stakes described in the book are equally significant. Brennan references economist Ryan Brewer's study of Clark's economic impact, noting that the projections were so large they required repeated verification. The ripple effects extended well beyond ticket sales, touching hospitality, local businesses, merchandise revenue, and advertising value. Clark's presence influenced nearly every layer of the women's basketball marketplace. Yet, as Brennan presents it, league leadership struggled to align its strategy with that reality. Beyond economics, the book explores cultural tensions within the WNBA. Brennan reports that some insiders viewed rapid mainstream popularity with skepticism, worrying it might shift the league's identity. Sociologist Harry Edwards, whom Brennan interviewed, suggested the organization could have proactively prepared players for the surge of attention Clark would attract. Educational sessions or open discussions might have clarified how increased visibility could strengthen media deals, sponsorships, and overall salary growth. Without that groundwork, misunderstandings and competitive anxieties were more likely to surface. Brennan also addresses sensitive topics, including the demographic expansion of Clark's fan base. Many newcomers to women's basketball brought diverse political and cultural perspectives. Integrating hundreds of thousands of new fans inevitably required thoughtful communication strategies. According to the book, leadership appeared reactive rather than proactive, caught off guard by attendance spikes, heightened media coverage, revenue surges, and cultural conversations. Marketing and media execution receive pointed criticism as well. Brennan argues there was no cohesive blueprint to sustain Clark's momentum. Prime broadcast scheduling, consistent national exposure, and fully stocked merchandise could have amplified growth. Instead, supply shortages and inconsistent visibility left revenue unrealized. She also describes moments when negative narratives went largely unanswered, allowing external voices to shape the conversation. The book further suggests that internal resistance slowed adaptation. Some within the organization reportedly recognized the opportunity early, but institutional inertia made swift change difficult. Scheduling decisions, branding choices, and communication strategies did not always reflect the scale of Clark's influence. As a result, Brennan portrays a league adjusting unevenly to a generational talent with widespread appeal. With Clark now in her second season continuing to draw strong audiences, the timing of Brennan's release intensifies scrutiny. Each high viewership game renews discussion about whether the league fully capitalized on a pivotal moment. Internationally, women's basketball is expanding, and the WNBA had an opportunity to solidify its leadership position. Clark's appeal reached beyond U.S. borders, yet organizational challenges sometimes shifted the narrative away from on-court excellence. Ultimately, Brennan's work highlights a gap between fan enthusiasm and executive response. The book's commercial success demonstrates strong public interest in transparent analysis of the league's decisions. As discussions continue, the WNBA faces an important choice: adapt strategically to sustained growth or risk repeating the same missteps during a transformative era for the sport. Public reaction online has been sharply critical of league leadership. Readers are circulating highlighted passages that portray the WNBA as unprepared for the magnitude of its own moment. The situation has evolved into a public relations challenge for an organization that was already working to strengthen its credibility. Brennan also examines how segments of established sports media may have contributed to the confusion. Rather than directly questioning questionable decisions, some commentators framed Clark's popularity as complicated or disruptive instead of recognizing its clear advantages. Brennan's reporting stands out because she prioritizes documenting events as they unfolded, even when that means scrutinizing decisions within women's sports leadership. The financial analysis presented in the book adds another layer of concern. When data suggests that a single player generated hundreds of millions of dollars in broader economic activity, and that the league struggled to fully capitalize on it, it inevitably invites scrutiny of executive strategy. According to Brennan, the challenges extended beyond Clark's individual case. She outlines broader structural concerns involving marketing execution, long-term planning, and internal priorities that sometimes appeared misaligned with sustainable growth. Brennan's global experience covering women's basketball provides useful context. She compares the WNBA's handling of a rising superstar to international leagues that have successfully built marketing campaigns around their most recognizable players. In that comparison, the WNBA's strategy appeared hesitant and fragmented. The story, as Brennan frames it, is still unfolding. Clark remains early in her professional career, and the league continues adjusting to the scale of attention she attracts. The central question is whether leadership will evolve in response to lessons learned. Corporate sponsorship is another key dimension. Major brands typically seek stable, strategically focused partners capable of maximizing exposure and return on investment. If potential sponsors perceive internal dysfunction or inconsistent messaging, it may affect partnership decisions. Brennan also details internal debates within the organization, suggesting that not everyone embraced Clark's rapid ascent in the same way. Such divisions, she argues, complicated unified decision-making at a critical time. Fan testimonials included in the book underscore Clark's reach. Many supporters quoted were new to women's basketball, drawn in by her style of play and compelling journey. Integrating that wave of new interest required thoughtful communication and media preparation. Brennan notes that limited guidance for players and coaches sometimes resulted in avoidable public missteps during heightened scrutiny. Placed in historical context, these developments carry even greater weight. Women's professional basketball has spent decades seeking broader mainstream recognition. When unprecedented visibility arrived, the league faced the challenge of managing rapid expansion responsibly. Brennan suggests that resistance to change and institutional inertia slowed necessary adaptation. Ultimately, the book argues that the league's internal friction affected more than one player. It influenced overall culture, public perception, and growth potential. Internationally, American women's basketball had an opportunity to present a model of organizational excellence. Instead, management struggles became part of the global narrative. Brennan's reporting has now brought these issues to a mainstream audience, ensuring that discussions about leadership, strategy, and accountability will remain central as the WNBA continues to evolve.